Just do it.
We're getting all the things. This is what it looks like to get ready. It is B-roll. We should have done it echoing two people in the same time. Right. Marilena's lap. This is what it takes to get like camera ready.
And yeah, I feel your pain. I know you were like, my hair is still wet, and I was like, girl, go. Like, what are you doing talking to me right now? I was like, no, yeah, go.
I literally have like 8 minutes. My hair is still wet. I just got out of the shower.
Right? Hey, at least you bathed. That's
good. God,
I bathed for you.
You're winning at life.
Not that Zoom is going to even know, but I bathed for you all. Just because it was 4 p.m. in the afternoon, we don't have to discuss that.
Yeah, no.
Oh my goodness. This is fun. I don't think I've ever had an interview, start like this ever.
Well, yeah. Real
it's
talk.
Cool.
Welcome to the Divine Play Podcast.
That's right.
Where we talk about real shit.
Yes. Yeah, it gets to be real. Come on, it's life.
Yeah. Facts. It is life. Oh, I need to change this so I can stop. I'm like not looking at my screen. Hold on. Let me put that up. How do I get it on the how did I get
Happy
it?
week of Christmas.
Oh my God.
Christmas. And
do you celebrate Christmas, Coach Sarah?
No.
There we go.
No. But I
didn't think you did.
I'm part of the celebration. It's just I don't celebrate. I think it's like 80 degrees here.
Where are you at?
Oh, I'm
California.
so sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
No, it's perfect.
I don't even know. It's like 30 here.
It's perfect. No, I love the heat, honey. I don't like the cold weather. This is good.
I will not.
I lived in Colorado, and it was.
Oh my goodness.
It was just cold, but you also had 340 days of sunshine in Colorado. It was amazing.
Okay. Yeah, I love the sun.
Yeah.
I'm a sun sign, so yeah, gotta have the sun.
Good times.
I do much better with sun too. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We're just gonna dive right into it. Miss Sarah, I'm gonna have you introduce and talk about yourself, if you don't mind.
Okay. I think I can.
Can you?
Are we on?
We can do whatever. We can stop. You want to stop and then start again? I'm gonna stop
it's
it.
Up to you.
Well, no, don't stop it. We just cut it out. Cut out what we need to cut out. Just keep recording. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to give you a heart emoji about 5 minutes before I got a hard stop if we're still going.
Okay.
Cool.
I love a 5-minute warning. And I love that you're going to send me a heart emoji.
Always.
I hope you're not.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm good.
Yeah. I have school. I forgot. Like I did not look at the calendar when it was like, hey, we need to reschedule. Is the 20th good? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I was like, oh, I have school.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I will have a hard stop around 6:40-ish. So
okay.
We'll try to wrap it.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Are we good and golden?
Perfection, baby.
Absolutely. Retrograde and all.
Yes.
Welcome to this episode of the Divine Play Podcast. I'm Shannon Morrison.
And I'm Marilena Lee.
And we are here.
I am Sarah Adams. Oh. Sorry. I didn't mean that. Sorry. Go ahead. One more time.
I told you were going to tell yourself. I told you were going to speak for yourself. We are so excited to bring Miss Sarah, Coach Sarah Adams, to this episode, and we're going to have the most beautiful, authentic, intuitive conversation today that we probably have had in this podcast, because we are winging it, my friends, and I love that. I love that we are doing this, and it is in this time of recording. It is Christmas week. And we have had quite the experience of today getting here and being with you all. And we're so excited to be with you and that you're listening right now. So we're going to dive right in. First of all, Coach Sarah, I would love you to introduce yourself a little more than we just spoke real quick. So welcome.
My God. Thank you so much, ladies, for having me here today. Yes, it's been interesting to get ourselves here today. I can speak for myself. It was a roller coaster, but here we are. It's Mercury retrograde. So my name is Sarah Adams. I am former Mrs. Morocco, also a leadership coach and an intuitive leadership coach. I do also public speaking. I'm more of a transformational speaker. My background comes also from photography, professional photography and video production. So I am a visual learner. When I speak, you're gonna, experience with me, I visualize when people are talking to me, I see it. It's all like a movie that's happening. So life is beautiful because we get to create whatever we want. And I'm all about resetting, your life and starting again, scripting your own story and being the main character, the script writer, the director of your life.
Mm.
And what I do, what I do is, in terms of coaching, I work with women, so they are directed by their vision and not led by their trauma.
Mm. That's powerful. So I love this idea of like writing and becoming the storyteller instead of being a part of the story. The shamanic studies program that I've been in this year has been so much focused on that writing your own story. And the thing that I've always told myself over the years is you don't have to be the victim when you write your own story. And that's a choice we get to make. And so I'm really curious about your path from maybe not believing that you were the author of your own story into believing that you get to write your own story. What did that look like for you?
Oh my gosh. Which part you want me to start from? Just to give you the highlights. I was born and raised in Morocco.
Okay.
I came here to the US when I was 23 with a big dream, growing up watching the Hollywood movies, chasing the American dream. And I came here, I started my life by myself, came with 4 suitcases, you know. It was so nice to start, in a brand new continent, brand new country, brand new language, everything was new, everything was exciting. I was like a 2-year-old in a body of 22. Well, fast forward, the next chapter would be I got the pleasure and the honor of marrying a covert narcissist. And that's the big punchline where I was lucky that he was able to destroy everything that made that person. And I got to look at every piece and then put them together and figure out, oh, this is not good, where I'm going. Because when I came, I was 22. Now I got married. I was 36, 35, something like that. And I was still operating with an old operating system, Marrying him was that chance for me to figure out what's working, what's not working, and putting this new person that gets to continue and to create and to work on a legacy and actually empowering women. Because by the time I woke up, I don't want to fast forward, I'm still giving you just the highlight, believe it or not. I realized I was not the only one. I realized that there are many women, and I focus on women. I work also with men, but I think the statistics, points at women more than men. But I do know that there are also men that are victims of domestic violence, whether with a covert narcissist or whatever. But I realized that there are so many women that really need support, and I didn't know so much, and that experience created so many question marks and got me to go deep and work on myself to find out who I am. Because by the time I woke up, this was in 2015, I will never forget the day I was sitting on the couch and my ex-husband was on top of me, and it was not what you're visualizing. He was actually trying to take my life away. So when I got up from that couch, this is the guy that I was so much in love with. This is the guy who held my hand. And when he would hold my hand, I was on cloud nine. You know, how do you go from cloud nine to, oh my God, I didn't understand it. So I made it my mission to figure out who I am, to understand what happened, because I'm one of those. If I don't understand, you can't enroll me in anything. But if I understand, then there's this passion that comes out, and it's uncontainable, really. So when I understood what happened, I made it my mission that I get to help women, and I get to wake them up to their full potential. And I want them to know not every woman that goes through domestic violence is a weak person, but it's just something, that a trauma that we did not deal with, that did not even know that existed. That person came as a delivery service, the DHL or whatever, FedEx, to deliver a message, to deliver a lesson. And I got to go from the victimhood, you know, because I got stuck in that for many, many years. Why me? Why me? I was a good person. I was a good wife. I was a good friend. I did everything right. And then it did not compute at the end of the day. So I needed to understand.
Yeah, I can relate to this so hard. I know Shannon can also relate to this so hard. So quick background on me. I ended up, my greatest teacher was a covert narcissist. I was with him for about a total of 4 years. And I have to say, I love so much what you said, that you were so lucky that he was able to destroy every part of that person that stayed. And
Yes.
I can relate to that super hard also, because that person, right, that whole experience taught me radical acceptance. It taught me like radical acceptance for what is, and
Right.
radical self-love. Like
Yes.
I love myself enough to leave, and I love myself enough to never look back, you know,
Mm,
because I know, so now I know that I'm worth so much more than that.
right.
But I was believing, like you said, I had wounds that I didn't even know were there. And I
Right.
think that was the gift that he gave me, right? Is he came to
Right.
be a mirror for all the stuff that I was feeling, that I didn't know
Mm,
I was believing about myself, that I was unlovable, that I was unworthy, that I was a bad person, like that I deserved it, like all of those things.
right.
Um, and it's what you said about, like, not all women who survive abuse are weak women.
Yeah.
To all of my friends, I was the fiercest woman they knew. None
Yeah.
of them could
Same
understand.
here.
None of them could
Mhm.
understand how I was with him. So,
Right.
Shannon, I'm super curious if, like, all of that resonates with you, which I know it
Mhm.
does. And then I'm also curious if everybody in your life also thought you were the fiercest woman they knew and were baffled by your staying.
This is so
Um,
interesting. Oh,
yes, go ahead.
sorry.
Sorry.
Um, I literally had this conversation last night. Literally, somebody, because I have been more bold on social media
Mhm.
about my journey and my experience, and where I want to help women do the same dang thing, right? I want to help women understand their worth and create this beautiful life that they deserve, and not feel like they're weak because of somebody else's feelings. And she just looked at me and she's like, I just, first of all, I didn't think that you would ever be a person that would take that.
Right.
Right. And she's like, and like, you hit it so freaking well.
Mm,
Like, I know how, like, I don't even understand. And I was like, of course we did.
mm,
Everything was
mm.
perfectly perfect outside the door. Everything was perfectly perfect in the community. I said,
Right.
no one knew, because I was like, I got this. I'll take care of myself. It's my
Mm,
deal to, it's my own journey. This is, I get to. And with this huge conversation, it's been 13 years since I left my husband
mm,
and my ex-husband, excuse me. And it wasn't the only relationship that taught me a massive lesson. I found
mm,
another human, and she didn't even realize that. And she's just like, well, I feel like this is the thing that happens. This is probably why this card was brought up, Miss Coach Sarah. I feel like this happens a lot. I said it does. Like, I worked with domestic violence coalitions in my previous job, And it is so frustrating for us as professionals to be like, do all this work, find them home, get them stable, get them therapy, get them help, all the things. And then they go back to their abuser. I was like, or find another human. And something that you said, Coach Sarah, that really resonates is the programming. We get to create a different programming, a different way of being before we can choose into somebody that's a positive human that's going to love us like we deserve to be loved. And the first thing that comes to my mind, and the first thing that I teach and that I got to do is look at the person that I saw in the mirror, and I got to love me first and love me to all of it, all of the breakdown, all of the everything, and believe that I was worthy of something different and something new that I hadn't seen up until then. And that is what I teach women. That is my goal, is to really see the human that you and love her or him. And so, yeah, it's just like in 24 hours, it came up after all this time. And they're like, I just have to say, like, I watched you on social media and I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled.
The idea of, when I got up from that couch, there were so many feelings going through. You gotta remember, I'm a strong person. I was always like that. I handled my stuff, and I made it look easy too. For everyone who looks at me, I'm like, oh, I don't know how you do that. I'm like, I don't know. Life goes on, and always show up, always do what I say I'm going to do, all of that. For me to end up with something like that, it was actually, my brain could not even understand it. The thing is, what a lot of people don't get, when you are with a covert narcissist, they confuse the hell out of you. You don't know. Now, coming with the old programming, which I call Windows 1998, just you got to do the right thing, it's black and white, the good values. It doesn't matter what the person is doing to you, you still get to show up that way. As women, we're not taught to protect ourselves. There's nothing wrong with the old values. It's, you need to add to it. And I remember one time when he choked me and I ran out the house. And my neighbor goes, call the cops. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. And she goes, but this is not against him. I'm saying, like, I don't want him to go to jail. I don't want. And she goes, this is to protect yourself. And I stopped. I didn't understand what she was saying. What do you mean protect myself? That was a foreign concept. Now, fast forward to the time when I got out of the couch and I got there and I'm like, I'm angry. I'm ashamed, because everybody knows this is the love of my life. I have this image. Not that I was trying to keep the image, but I didn't want to break his image. Still trying to protect him and not thinking about myself, And I'm like, how did I get here? How does it start this way and ends this way? And how did I allow this person to treat me this way? It was so many things. And at the same time, I'm ashamed. How do I go? I couldn't even go to my parents. I couldn't go to anybody because I'm supposed to handle everything by myself. That's all I do. So it's a lot of emotions, and most people are confused that are going through that process. They destroyed everything, in you. So you don't know whether, when you put in your foot down, whether you're putting it on a solid ground because everything that was shaken, or are you gonna fall again? So I'm not gonna take pride in the part that I walked away. It took me to the point that I needed to have my life taken away from me to wake up. I did not just make a conscious decision. God gave me a bonus time that I'm working with. It's a difference, big difference. But then when I woke up and I'm like, what just happened? That's when the work started. So when you're going through it as a domestic violence, you know, especially with the covert narcissists, because those people, they don't face you. They don't go like, oh, you're a horrible person. I'm like, when you say something, they go like, oh, that's not what I said. I love you. You know, I love. It's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I reached a point where I was walking and I'm going like, not talking to anybody, just me, myself, and I, you know, in the kitchen, going like, and I'm like, oh my God, am I losing my marbles? And yet I continued.
Did you ever write down what was said to you? Because you couldn't, you never knew if they actually said what they said or did what they did. I kept a journal on my phone of things he said and things he did because the gaslighting was like so constant.
Right.
And like that's a
I was
flag.
a given. I was given that gift. Yes.
Yeah. It's just I couldn't trust myself. And I had this
Yes.
cognitive dissonance that was like either because I saw myself as fierce too.
Mm.
And so there was like this cognitive dissonance of like, oh, either I'm weak or I'm so strong. I'm staying and loving him through this. Right. So it was like I had to like gaslight myself. I had to lie to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
You know? It was just it was a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
That's why it's, you know, I tell people when I walked in to get married, I thought I find my soulmate. And I'm, you know, again, I will never forget when he would hold my hand on cloud nine and I walk out of there with PTSD.
Mhm.
That I've never been to a war zone, but I do have PTSD.
Yeah, I don't know. I think mine was the one, you know, like because when he would hold my hand and when things were good, I would be on cloud nine. And
Yeah.
I do think he was the one. And I
Well,
have a
he
feeling he
is.
relates to it. Like he was the exact right one that I needed.
Exactly.
He's the
Exactly.
one I
That's,
asked for.
yes, he
Yeah,
is the one.
Absolutely.
He is the one, not the one to love you, the one to teach you how to love
that's
you
right.
yourself. Yes.
Quite the lesson.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love
Uh-huh.
that. He was the one that teach you how to love you. That is very true. And what you
Yeah.
won't stand for any longer, right? What you're choosing different. There gets to be a really, really strong line. And about I don't really like the word boundary, but there gets to be a very strong line that you're like, yeah, no. You can see it like it comes a little more clearly afterwards. I felt like it has come more clearly. How do we, because we all are mamas here. What's coming to me is first of all, how did you start trusting yourself again? Because it took me a while to, sometimes I don't even, I have this card I was talking to Coach Sarah about. It says, how can I deepen my trust right now? And this comes up because I did not trust any like decision making from even when I was a kid. I just felt like I could not make decisions. And I'm just like, just choose for me because it was easier. And I felt like that has always been my forte. Like I couldn't trust myself after being through my journey to understand or to know, because I was just like, I'm going to probably make the wrong decision. Like, so when did you start trusting yourself that the humans around you or that to be able to move forward? What came up for you or what comes up for you when I ask that question, Coach Sarah?
Well, growing up, I always trusted myself. I always built that way. My mom always taught me how to trust myself. Even though when I made some stupid decisions, she backed me up, you know, and I learned I was not one of those that you have to do this because I'm mom or I'm dad. So that's why when I came to the US by myself, you know, that was a big, big, huge step to come to a brand new country. You got to be built really, really strong. Yet I remember I used to cry. I miss my family, you know, I miss the holidays. I miss a lot of things. I would cry and I would just continue. And one day I remember I sat there and I visualized like me on a boat. And I came to America on a boat. Okay. And I decided I'm going to burn the boat. I made a decision. I'm going to stay here. This is where I get to build. I get to go back to home. That's still who I am. I love everything I created back home, but that's my vacation. See, it's easy for me to define things. It's simple. My brain works that way. I define words, I define things, and it creates peace. Now, back to your question about trusting after that. When I left the relationship, I used to really, and I'm sorry to say this, to vomit when I think of a man is interested in me. That's how disgusted I was. So being with a man was out of the question. And I remember going to, group sessions where, some of those ladies, they would come and talk about, hey, I met this guy. I'm like, oh, remember, that's how they start. I was completely not seeing it. And there were some people interested. I was like, I would not even see them. I was not interested. When I see them, I was not even interested. So I had serious trust issues with men, not in humankind, in men, because I was hurt by a man.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened after that, when I got into the leadership coaching and everything, I realized there is a level that I get to go to, which is intimacy. And intimacy is the foundation of everything. I worked through so much. Intimacy was it. And I remember with my coaches, they were going like, just create a profile online. And I'm like, but I gotta say stuff. I don't know what to say. Not because I'm lacking words. My brain is not connecting the dots. And I'm like, okay. So I remember one day they stayed with me, till I created an account that I have out there that I've never logged into. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously. So then I kept working on myself, and then intimacy came up. Always intimacy came up, and I knew it came up. And one day, and I'm like, okay, screw it. This is it. I'm just going in. So nobody was talking to me because, when you coach, you have your coaches, but at certain point, at certain level, the basic stuff, you have a coach in your head.
Oh, right.
And yeah, you have a coach in your head, and I can't, coach people and tell them to do something and I'm not doing it. I cannot do that. I got to live what I say. So my coach in my head came out and I'm like, you get to do this. I'm like, okay, but how can I justify it to myself? How can I talk to other men? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're a coach. You love talking. What's the problem with that? Just go talk to people. I did not start talking to people with the intention that I'm getting married, none of that stuff, okay? Or dating, none of it. First of all, I'm like, I'm so busy, too busy, that I don't even have time to just go like this or sleep. Seriously, single mom,
Yep.
I'm doing so many coaching programs, whether I'm a student or I'm coaching. And I'm also, at that point, I was, I was doing my pageantry. I was a month away from being on stage, walking on stage and all of that. And it was intense time. So I said, you know what, just go and talk to people. Do exactly what you say, to your clients. Be unattached, enjoy the journey. It's not about the destination. It's about now. And when you don't trust, when you go and say, I don't trust that person, it's something within you that's not working. That's a problem that you get to deal with. So it's not out there, it's in here. So I get to face it. And this is where my next level is. And I was sitting right here and went, created a profile. And I start talking to people. Next thing you know, gosh, I think within a month, that's when I met my husband.
Oh my gosh.
All right. And you're a newlywed, aren't you? If I remember correctly, you just got married recently. How long ago did you get married?
The 7th of January. It's going to be 1 year.
Oh, congratulations. That's so amazing.
Coming up on a year.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that thing, I was in the level where, you know what? I did so much work. I'm ready to work with energy right now. So this is the time where I get to play with it and have fun with it and manifest whatever I want. But the first step to manifest, and you get to work on that childhood trauma, and you get to do the psychological part, because that energy doesn't lie. It's going to come up. So I felt I was ready. The only thing that was holding me back is intimacy. And if I tackle that, then a lot of things will be taken care of. And I'm ready for the next level.
What does intimacy mean to you? Like,
intimacy is details. It's being intimate to the point that you know the details of anything, whether it's numbers, whether it's a conversation. I'm intimate with you. I'm open. I get to show up the way I am. I'm being vulnerable with you. That's intimacy. Most people associate intimacy with sexual in our course. That's just part of it. I mean, I think right now, or these, people are not using intimacy the right way, because a lot of people are sleeping together, but they're not intimate.
Right.
Okay. So intimacy is really like looking into my soul, knowing I get to show up the way I am, and you see it. And what I found with that, when I am intimate, it's very easy. My life is easy, because the people that come to me are actually the one that resonates with me, and the one that are not, that's okay. That's perfect. So it's a win-win either way. So I wanted to win. I'm tired of attracting covert narcissists. I'm done. So for me not to deal with that, I get to be intimate. I get to show up. I get to work on myself. Whether you see me perfect or not, it's okay. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm always becoming, I'm always unfolding, and it's okay.
So kind of a follow-up question to that one.
Please.
One of the things that is really important about this podcast is that we really want to give people practical tools, like it's a little bit of a how-to.
Right.
And so I know personally, in my own experience and with some of my clients who have also survived narcissistic relationships, right, where those coping mechanisms were really in place and those dynamics were in place. One of the things that happened in the beginning is that they were very open and they were very vulnerable. And there seemed to be a lot of intimacy with this person who had these coping mechanisms that became so damaging. And so intimacy becomes very scary when a person that you love and that you trust turns all of those details into ways to manipulate you. And I always tell people, part of recovery is you get to trust yourself again. You get to trust yourself to walk away. You get to trust yourself to say no. You get to trust yourself to read people. And if you read them wrong, you trust yourself to course correct. And so for you, was there, like, if you could think of a tool potentially that allowed you to move from fear of intimacy into trust and vulnerability, what would that tool be? If you could think of one or two or three, what might that look like if you were to like impart that?
It's different for each person, but it really boils down to knowing who you are. See, it's very simple. It doesn't matter at this point of my journey, as of today. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything, but I know a lot. Okay. So you get to be realistic, even though I don't like that word realistic, because a lot of people use it to limit themselves. I use it more to empower myself. So I know what I know, and what I don't know, it's my list of things that I get to improve on. We're always improving. There's nobody who's perfect. Okay. When you're perfect, you croak, you die. Done. Your time is up. Okay. So to me, it doesn't matter what you tell me today or what comes up for me. I'm always present. I'm also an emotional intelligence coach. I'm NLP. I do a lot of that. So I learn to, whatever gets activated, I get to trace it back. I don't stop, because I lived many years where I had a concrete wall where I didn't know how to go to the other side. So I think the best way, once you know yourself, people cannot use anything against you. Really
good. That's so good.
That
That's
answer.
like the best answer I could have asked for. Like that.
Thank you.
So good. Know yourself, because then nobody can use anything against you. Yeah.
No, I mean, you're not going to surprise me with anything really about myself. You know, I've taken the time, I invested a lot of time and money in myself to know who I am. And again, I'm perfectly okay being imperfect. I'm good with all of it. I see all of it. You know, a lot of people come to me and they say, you know, the list of the wonderful things about me, and I'm flattered. I'm humbled. But I know what I have a list of things that I work on all the time. I'm always learning. I think this experience was a blessing on so many levels. One of which is actually me being just, you know, I'm always learning. I'm always getting certificates over. I'm certificate or no certificate. I'm always learning. I want to learn more, whether to figure out who I am or actually to serve best my clients. So really, if you know yourself, people are not going to surprise you. They can't use anything against you. And the second thing actually is I start speaking. Speaking helped me a lot because when I went and I start speaking, people can resonate with what I'm saying. And because I made it my mission to create an impact in the world, speaking is providing that platform for me. So people are coming to me every time I speak, they go like, thank you so much. You're so courageous. You know, they're blown away by the amount of detail that I'm sharing, because most people are ashamed of that. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I made peace with all of it. See, most people, they can walk away, but then they don't create that soul, head, or mental and heart alignment. Once you create that, once you see the spiritual lesson, your head can make sense of it and your heart has peace. You know, like, okay, because when you go through an experience like that, some people, they would just multiply that by a 0 and blame themselves. I made a horrible decision. I'm no good. They go into self-beat up. Again, be realistic. You can't take away the beautiful moment. I mean, the gaslighting is incredible.
I love that you're calling this out. It's so amazing because it gets to be, it's like euphoria and then the bottom falls out.
Yes. Yeah. Love bombing feels great. Love bombing feels amazing. It's fairy tale magic, you know?
Yeah.
Very so nice. We got to experience magic. We got to experience magic and we got to experience darkness. And then we get to choose which way, because some people would choose to go into the darkness. But thank God we chose to create an impact and bring in the light to the world and then enlighten these women or these people that are going through a similar experience. Because when you go through this, you think you're the only one. And that's a sad place to be at.
Lonely.
I up until leadership. So up until leadership, I had never, ever out loud said that I was a domestic violence survivor. It was like a stretch for me. Somebody asked me to do it and I couldn't say no, obviously. And it has like...
Why couldn't you say no? I'm curious about that.
I could say no, but okay. So you have this opportunity to grow yourself and evolve. And if I wanted the expansion and the stepping over that box that I had put myself in for so long, I had the opportunity to share a little piece of my story. And we didn't even get into it. And I was like, why is this so difficult for me to say? Like, this is, I can tell people my story. People ask me questions, I can talk about it, but why can I not have this as like... And it was because I was like, I didn't want people to think that I was weak or that I couldn't take care of myself or that I was broken. Those were the things that came up for me. And I was like, so from that day forward, I'm like, I am as strong as hell. Like I am so incredibly brave because of the journey that I was on. These humans are not broken. I am not freaking broken. We are so incredibly brave and amazing and strong and powerful. Why have I never said this before? After the panic attack and the breathing, the crying stopped, then my process was all of this. I was like, holy cow. And it was just this, it was not just, it was this amazing, beautiful experience that I leaned into. And then I'm just like, and then I was like telling my entire tribe, my community, my membership, I was like, just in case you didn't know, you are so amazingly strong. And if you ever felt this way, it is untrue. It is your brain trying to, whatever. And I was just like, this whole thing came out of it. But seriously, friends, it's been 2 years. That was the first time I said it out loud. And I've been out of a negative, narcissistic, horrific relationship for 11.
So good.
And it's been 2 years since I was able to say it out loud to people that I didn't know, to the world on Instagram.
Yep.
So I have a question because this is coming out for me and we're real talk here on this podcast. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sharing your authentic conversation and your authentic journey because it's going to help so many people. The impact we're creating today is beautiful. But something's come up for me. And so I'm going to ask here, because this is how we learn. How do you enable our children to see the light and go to the light and not the darkness without telling them what to do?
Beautiful.
Because it is so eye-opening. And my husband expresses on the daily, not the daily necessarily, but he expresses, would you be the human you are today without the journey that you were given? And I was like, absolutely not. Well, if somebody stopped every mistake that you made, would you be the woman that you are today that you see in the mirror? I was like, absolutely not.
Well, how do you empower without rescuing?
There you go. That is the word. See, big words from Marilena.
But you're right, though. It's hard with your kids, man. So, like, do you just let them fall flat on their face and be like, that's a hard one. It's a hard one as a mom, as a dad. I think parents, this is a really hard one.
There's no manual. I told my 22-year-old daughter last night the same thing. If there was a manual, we wouldn't read it because we're in the moment. We're in the present. We're dealing with what's going on right now. We wouldn't have time to open the dang book. And first of all, the book we couldn't carry it. So there is no book.
I use the same words as well. The first thing that came up with that question is you get to show up 100% and you get to work on yourself because those children are holding the mirror. We had an umbilical cord with them. So you cannot lie. And I don't mean using words here. I'm talking about your energy. It's funny because I mentioned this to my daughter, I think yesterday, because I've been coaching at home intensely. That's why I told you I couldn't send you anything. It's out of nowhere, all of us, including myself. When she was 3 years and a half, we were in the car one time and I got so tense. I was supposed to take my exit was closed and I had to drive 10 minutes. By the time I made the 10 minutes, it was a stop sign. I was sitting there with my glasses on. She's in the car seat in the back, 3 years and a half. Okay. And then she goes, "Hey, mommy, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Because you look like a sad mommy." She can't see my eyes. She can't see my body. She can't see anything. So that's on one side. On the other side, when you're not fully present, when you're not fully loving because you're heartbroken, because you're dealing with so much, okay? They feel that. Can't fake it. So the first thing we get to do as parents is we fix ourselves, whatever that means, and once you are whole, you're not acting from trauma, that's what I mean by whole, you don't need to say much, because I got to experience with my daughter where I was broken. I was walking with a big hole and trusting, and all the red signs are flashing, you know. And all I wanted is to actually provide a safe environment, space for my daughter, make sure that she feels stable and all of that. That was my only concern. I was not on the radar because I did not trust myself. I did not think I was worthy. I did not think so many wonderful things. I'm just here to serve. Okay, at the end, I'm just a robot that happens to be there to serve her. So she grows up. That's it. I did not matter.
Mm.
So when I switched from that to putting myself first, I saw it in her. She completely changed. I didn't need to say anything to her. That's the best part. And almost every day, she would say how proud she is of me.
Mm-hmm.
All I did is put myself first. Because truly, if I am healthy, then I have a bigger cup. I can't pour in from an empty cup. So I can give in more. And once I made peace with that in my head, that I'm not being selfish, because I was accused to being selfish at certain points when I was doing the coaching. I'm like, what do you mean I'm being selfish? Do you know who you're talking to? You know, I'm a victim of domestic violence. At that time, I was a victim. And my coach goes, well, you are a victim if you're not sharing your story. You're not a victim. You are selfish if you're not sharing your story. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people behind you that you think that you're not good enough to share your story with, that they're so behind. You don't need to be at the end. You just need to be wherever you are. And there are other people that you can serve. So, and I'm like, selfish? That is a definition of selfish, really, because it's all about me. I'm making it about me. This part is no longer about me. This is about the people that I get to save. Mm-hmm. And if what I think my version of the story was not good, or I think it's not good, and other people should not live the way I live, and I get to speak up. So not only when you start speaking up, when you start talking about your own experience, it's not only going to transform your family. I mean, with my daughter, I am conscious about what I'm sharing, the amount of information, because she's only 11 and her brain is still developing. There are certain things I share and certain things I just tell her flat out. You know, when your brain is fully developed, then we can continue this conversation. But at this point, this is all I can tell you. I'm not hiding things from you. I don't want to lie to you, but this is where we get to stop, because I don't want you to grow up untrusting of others. I want you to fall and get up. I'm here to hold, space with you, and I'm at your back, but I'm not going to do it for you. And I don't want to taint your experience with my own, because that's only my experience.
Right.
And when we heal, and when we heal, they heal.
Absolutely. I've seen a completely different shift in the last 5, and especially in the last 2 years for my kids. Absolutely. There's an evolution of healing, and then the mirror image of what you're creating. I love that so much. Thank you so much. We could talk about this. And I again, appreciate all of these tools, tips, and vulnerability conversations here, because we get to share all of it. And that's what we're here for. I would love to, as we wrap up, Coach Sarah, we can talk forever. I love you, you know that, and your impact and what you're creating in the world. I have one last question. How do you experience joy? What does joy mean to you?
Simple. It's progress. It's me creating an impact. It's really progress. That's if it's one word, it would be progress. Progress could be baby step, as long as you're going in the right direction. But you got to have a vision for your future first. Know where you're going. And that really starts with you. You get to know yourself first. Once you know yourself, then you know what you're capable of creating. And life becomes so joyful. It gets to be easy. And I don't just say those words, I mean them, because, after doing all this work, and I tell this to my husband and my daughter, I'm like, I wish I can pull you to where I am right now, because it's so beautiful. And I don't mean it in physical things. It's our life is all about full of feelings and what we get to experience. And I am a content person. Doesn't matter where I am. Doesn't matter what I have, what I don't have, because I know I'm capable of creating whatever I want. It's what I was lacking is a direction. I did not trust that I could do it. And then when I start speaking my truth, people were welcoming. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I was so concerned about hurting people's feeling. I'm just saying, and that's where, that nerd of vulnerability, became, not an issue anymore. It became a strength for me, because before I used to say, if I'm going to say something, I'm going to hurt their feeling. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. But then I realized that I'm attracting strong people that are actually looking for what I have to share.
Absolutely.
And they're resonating. So happiness has been, life has been incredible, where I'm going places that I never even thought about. I don't know if I told you, but in September, I was invited into the UN Assembly. I created some incredible connections. I became friends with Nelson Mandela's granddaughter. On 11/11, by the way, I was one of the speakers on stage. I'm like, I never thought I'm going to speak. Now I'm sharing the stage with Nelson Mandela's granddaughter, with, presidential campaign candidate, senators. I'm like, who would have thought of all of this? Why? Because I worked on myself, because I did the right things. I never looked for shortcuts. I did good with God. It's when you have a strong connection with God, or whatever you believe in, doing the right thing, whatever that is to you, okay? And not stabbing, because karma is a bitch, but in my case, is my best friend. I love karma because I stayed through the hard, and I went through hell, and I came out with a big smile.
That is a beautiful way to end this. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Coach Sarah, this is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. A perfect timing for this. You guys look in the show notes to get connected to what Coach Sarah Adams has to share with you. What is coming up next for her will be in the notes. How you can connect with her. This has been beautiful. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. I love you, Shannon, so much. Thank you, ladies, for having me here. It's an honor and a pleasure. And for your audience, I will send you a link for a clarity session. I can give it maybe to 10, for the month of January, because we're done this month. I'm happy to serve any way I can. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. That was, oh my gosh, what an amazing gift. So we will get this up, and don't forget to click on that link and get your clarity session ASAP. It'll be an amazing gift. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next episode.
Thank you, Coach Sarah. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.